All right, cyber traders, good afternoon and welcome on back here this Tuesday post Traders Talk edition here as always this Tuesday, November 28th, though not always November 28th. Great to see Michael, John, Kathleen, and all of our students and members alike inside our live trading room. Just give me a quick sound check if you could hear me loud and clear there. Should be good to go across all ends, though, inside our live trading room and, of course, just on social media at Cyber Trading U. As I'd mentioned just before, we came off our Traders Talk workshop earlier today. If you had missed out, if you joined late, that's actually just right on our YouTube channel right now. You can go to youtube.com/Cyber Trading U. Just at Cyber Trading U right there. Just make sure to subscribe so you're more in the loop with knowing when we're going live, when we're not. The recording of that is on our YouTube channel, though. And again, just join us inside our live trading room to actually get access to all of the recordings of that on a week-to-week basis, as well as the whole camaraderie inside our live trading room. So with that said, obviously, there's a lot to talk about on a day like today. Market had popped up pretty nicely heading into the mid-morning, and a bunch of stocks still holding really strong right now. So Michael, John, Mark, Ravina, Rod, great to see all of our students otherwise here. AFRM, AFRM up nearly 10% right now. So I'll right away just put this on our watch list. Up big, trending up, breaking new highs as we're talking. It's like almost like every day over the last week in which the stock has been making a move upward, running up a little bit here and there. And obviously for the last month or so it has. So, just be a little careful for a head fake. But with the way the markets were looking before, now we're getting more of a pullback on the SPY. So, we'll see if this can still make its own move on its own accord. But otherwise right now, you just want to make sure this can contain itself higher lows and namely above 32 still at this point. So, broke above 32 earlier here around 210, 215 Eastern here. And, as of right now, your next resistance seems to be a little something here at 3250, about 16, 17,000 there, another 13,000 up top at 33. 50-cent levels, whole numbers you'd imagine, but 32 is like the big level it's got to hold over. So we'll add Affirm AFRM to our watch list at least here to begin. If you have been in our trading room, then you definitely should know what we've been calling out mostly throughout this day today, because of course AFRM is one of them. But obviously we were talking about it from Traders Talk as well. Tesla ended up making another nice move up here today. Actually, it was like a huge slingshot. So it broke out pretty nicely before our workshop started around 10:30 Eastern. And ever since, it's been like a dreamboat trade. Cookies crumbled absolutely flawlessly on this one. So, we were looking for the support hold off at 235. It ended up shaking a little lower at first. So it took me out on a trade. And right when I thought it was going to break lower and completely tank there, well, it gave me another shot. And from there, we jumped it off the 235, anticipating at least a bit of a move up. But holy smokes, we were not really expecting the run up that we got. To get up to 240, that's one thing. That's okay. That's like a good trade, of course, but that's not far-fetched. 245, I don't think is far-fetched, but that's definitely a much deeper goal, a larger reach compared to, expecting it to top off much earlier around 240. So for right now, this trade is still looking pretty healthy. It's up like nearly 4%. Tesla itself, I meant to go to TSLL. So whenever Tesla is moving up, we always call this one out, namely here, TSLL. And this is an ETF, mind you, but it tracks specifically Tesla. I think it's like 1.5 times leveraged. So get a little bit more juice here on this trade. It's up about 5.6%, whereas Tesla itself is up 3.8% just about. So I'll add both. Affirm, Tesla, TSLL, really strong list here to begin. And that's, not even talking about Coinbase, right? Obviously Coinbase, Fausto swing trade. I know he missed out on a small portion of it, but honestly, at this point, he really can't be complaining too much because look at where it's at now. This thing is a rocket ship. It has been. So Coinbase, I'm going to be more keen to put on our watch list. If you actually heard me 24 hours ago yesterday, you heard me really say the same thing I typically say with these crypto stocks. They rarely make a great move into the market close. Afternoons, they don't make a good run. They might grind upward, but we're not looking to see a stock kind of, chop its way up. So Coinbase, I'm going to be more lenient on today just with this trend up. But the reason I'm more lenient on Coinbase compared to the other crypto stocks, this is a surprisingly low float stock. Mara might be lower float technically, but in terms of volatility, Coinbase is definitely a better mix of volatility and like lower float combination. Let's see if I could even find it here. Perhaps I'll do a little tracking here, if I may. So Coinbase was up like 9% or so, right? I thought it was just before. All right, here. So this is 185 million share float, Coinbase. 185 million share float. What's Mara? Mara right now is up like 8%. It's actually a lower float compared to Mara, which is actually pretty surprising to me. I thought Mara would be lower even. So it actually proves my point further, where Coinbase is definitely a stock that you do want to follow. Mara is moving up pretty nicely. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't really see as much in Mara, Riot, the other crypto mining stocks comparative to Coin. So if you are more picky towards at least a stock near the high, I'd rather you look at Coin compared to Mara. And if you're not interested in Coinbase, then hey, you got Tesla, you got TSLL, you got Affirm. There's going to be a litany of other trades we'll be scanning through in just a moment here, folks. So what we'll do is go from top to bottom here, see what we could add, but definitely a good start so far. And I would love to be wrong on the day where Mara and Riot make these extravagant runs, make a dollar move into the close. Trust me, I've been here 10 years. Like, I've rarely ever seen it. So for the day that I'll be wrong on that, I'll be glad to be wrong, because that just doesn't really happen too often. So as far as the crypto stocks, that is. Now, as we go from top to bottom, RDHL, trying to move back up a little bit here. Second win type of move, pass. ICCM, it's at the highs. It's at the highs. And that part you have to respect and appreciate. What I don't respect and appreciate about this trade is that it is a choppy trend and grind upwards. So, unless if you're in from $1 or like $1.10, the bottom there, and basically by the time the market opened up, you're probably pulling your hair out trying to make that 5 or 10 cent move on $1 stock when you could have been making more money on a $30 AFRM. So, you know what? For right now, ICCM, I'll come back to it if you really need me to, if you want me to. Have some lines here on this chart. We'll keep them up for the meantime. But HNRA, same deal. Second win type of move. I've never really traded that stock in the past, unless it's an IPO. That's not really the best sign. Another Bitcoin stock, BITF. I would assume this one's not going to be as strong of a runner. It doesn't even show the float. So I don't know if that's a good sign or bad sign or what, but obviously this trend here, or lack thereof. Pass on that. We'll pass on this. Now, what the hell happened here? Far-fetched. FTCH led to a nice pop just suddenly, like early to mid-afternoon. I know Rich called this out before, but truth be told, I was too focused on my Tesla. So, you gotta stay hyper-focused on your positions, of course. And with that, I didn't care to check the news myself. I know Rich posted earlier. I saw some headline, but just reading it right now, far-fetched shares trading higher following a report suggesting the company's founder may be in talks to take the company private. Pulling an Elon there. So, a little pop-up so far, and, just very tradable. Good spread, good liquidity. Definitely just low risk for us to add this to our watch list for now. Far-fetched. We'll add it. And then Y, another chop fest there. RNA, that was a loser from the morning session. It is making a second win type of move right now, as you're seeing, bouncing up basically 7 to 750. Again, I'm going to pass on it just here for the meantime. CDIO, we were hopeful for a nice move up on this one earlier today, and we got it. But, looking for more, looking for the test of 3, the break over 3. And I was on a call with one of our students and just kind of hawking it and watching and seeing what would happen. And, even as such, even if it were to break over 3, you would expect the first test to be the best test. That's what we always say. We said it just earlier in Traders Talk. And, just either way, it didn't even touch it. It hit a high of 297, fell back down. That was pretty much game over. You got a lot that is up percentage-wise, folks. Like number 15 is up 15%. So If you think I'm going through this here pretty slowly, there's just a lot moving that's up percentage-wise. You got to go through this with a fine-tooth comb. CLSK, another crypto mining stock. I love this stock as far as a swing. I love Mara as far as a swing. Our students know that in our trading room. But they should also know, as we've stated here in this room, in this meeting, CLSK is a sneaky, very interesting crypto mining stock. I think JP Morgan a month and a half ago came out with some report saying that it's like one of their favorites. And the last 4, 5, 6 days at least here has just been nonstop up. So it actually has a lower float even compared to Coinbase. So we'll come back to this, I guess. If you don't have a big watch list, maybe I'll reconsider a clean spark at least there. LC, nice little trend here right now. Decent volume on the book. It's kind of low risk to add this type of stock to our watch list right now. Let's just see if there's anything looking even more like of an opportunity, more advantageous. Holy smokes, number like 30 is up like 8% or whatnot. So you still got to keep squeezing down this list here, everyone. Just give me a quick sec. We'll hop over to the loser side. Probably not going to find much there. GameStop, is it like a Reddit type of meme stock type of squeeze day? I completely missed out on this trade even. Went from 12 to 1350 essentially. Phenomenal run on GameStop. AMC, speaking of, just didn't really do anything. So it wasn't exactly that type of day, but GameStop had a nice move. There's our Mara. There's Hut, another one. I'll tell you what, folks, if there's anything else looking real sharp on the way up, definitely type it in the chat board. Let me know. Square, probably the last one. At least I'll look from this side for right now. Had a great day today. Just, from more expensive stock, I'd want something really sharp like Coinbase. Otherwise, pass. All right, so hop over to the loser side here, seeing if there's anything looking just as good. A bunch of the gainers and big percent gainers and movers from yesterday are on the loser side here today. That is no surprise. This captain trade has had a hell of a move today. So I'd called this out earlier today, not really pre-market, but it was just after the drop. I came back to it just suddenly. I was like, what the hell happened here? Not surprising that, again, yesterday's gainer is a loser today. But after that drop, what the hell? This thing has made a wicked recovery since. Ended up bouncing from 260-ish, 270, up to like 340, back down, built back up again, now up to 359. I appreciate the type of volatility this trade is bringing. So, I just wish the order book was more filled in. That's for sure. Definitely a bit of a spread here and there, but more so it's just how thin the order book is. I've just been saying in our trading room, it's just an interesting move today at that. And again, it's just, if anything, the liquidity is just really scaring me away. I think this had a nice iceberg order on it just a moment ago. There goes a firm pushing back up again. Where do we have this here? Captain trade. Yeah, I mean, it's not showing on my matrix, but on level 4, you can see about 21,000 shares out there at 365. Up top after that is seemingly, allegedly, 411, 412. I'm going to pass on it for right now. Again, if it was more liquid, I would add it, but for right now, see what else is out there. And not much more else out there. As we just kind of skim the rest of the loser side here, not much else, really. Got laser, pretty cheap. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so folks, up, down, left, right. Let me know if there's anything else looking good here. Before we wrap up, maybe 1 or 2 stocks I said I'd go back to. Obviously, the crypto mining stocks. Coinbase, of course, is already on our list. But CLSK. I am more particular about this. I thought it had a higher float, so okay. So, it is pushing up pretty well. And if the crypto stocks go, I would use those two. Coinbase, CLSK. Hey, if you're in our trading room and you do really well on Mara normally, then you stick to Mara. All right, I'm not going to force your hand. But for anyone else, I would simply say stick more so on CLSK. Stick more so on that expensive Coinbase trade. Yes, you could trade less shares of it, but I think those two are going to be your most bang for the buck in terms of the crypto stocks this afternoon. That's if they even do decide to make a clean run. This isn't exactly it just yet. Kennedy saying AFRM has 150,000 share iceberg on the ask at 35. Kennedy had a great call out on this trade. I think yesterday it was just even. Wonder if it will reach it. I'll tell you what, you had a great call out, Kennedy. I think it was off the $30 level just yesterday it was. So the fact that you're asking once again, I'm going to follow your lead. I think that there's a good chance it could. And, obviously, if it's not today, then it's still only Tuesday. Perhaps we got a little time on that. Michael asking about run. Nah, it looks kind of flat, kind of boring. It's up a little bit right now, but, if we added every stock like this on our watch list, we'd have a 120 stock. We got to have some good juice to work with here. That's where I say AFRM is money. At the Tesla trade and TSLL, money. And then on top of that, look at Farfetch. Look at this thing go. Bouncing back up here. These are the stocks that you want to start off with, at least in terms of trend and momentum. You don't want to have anything watching the grass grow. All right, folks. So, hey, Brian on YouTube. How about this? Just checking YouTube chat right now. My apologies. Brian asking for my opinion on the stock AAOI. I'm going to pass on it, at least for today. Definitely a slow mover, not really doing a whole lot. Up and down, if anything. But now, if you're looking more as a swing trade, Brian, as a swing trade, hey, it's had a phenomenal summer into late end of the year so far, late fall, early winter season as we're approaching. So with that, I'm a firm proponent of the market squeezing up higher. As far as all-time highs, we shall see. But, even dating back to late August, early September, where I was early on that, I was wrong at first initially with it. But I think that there's a good chance of a melt up in the market. And let's just hypothesize and say, if we were to be correct with that, rising tide lifts all boats. So the way AOI has been squeezing up here, it looks very healthy, very strong. This stock, I remember just from like trading AMD eons ago, back in like 17, 18. Perhaps you could even go into like 2020, 2021. But yeah, this was $100 stock back then, fell all the way down. So there is some recovery room in that regard, and it's had a great couple weeks, right? So as far as a swing trade, that's really all I could say there. As a day trade, there's not really much momentum right now. So, all right. But folks, I think that we're going to wrap it up here. Just going to take one last gander at Benzinga Pro before we wrap it up. Wow, look at this. The RDHL trying to prove me a little wrong here. So moving back on up to 2, I said that's like the second win type of move. Well, it's popped up above 2. Does that convince me? Does that lead me to think it's going to run to break new highs? No. Hate to break the bad news to you. No. And with that, I mean, it has a good spread. As long as it can remain over 2, then there's a chance for it to continue to make higher lows and for it to try and maybe make another 10, 15 cent pop. That's like what your expectation should be on this type of trade. Now, God forbid, if this ends up breaking new highs before the close, that would be the pipe dream, right? That's like what you could honestly go to bed and dream about and hope for at night. But yeah, for right now, does it tempt me to at least add this to our list? All right, I'll add it to our list for right now, the RDHL. But again, from this point, got to continue to hold higher lows, and more so actually, we talked about this in Traders Talk earlier today, our weekly workshop. Again, you got to join us inside our live trading room to get the full rendition. But RDHL, oh, look what's happening already. No bueno. I don't like that. But we were saying before, the massive near million share print that got filled right off the reopen from the halt at 228. So even with this here moving up a little bit, 228 is still your key level. That's like really the big kahuna to work with right there. So, hey, you know the deal here. Actually, let's watch this for the next like 30 seconds. Let's watch this. I don't like finishing up a meeting, then like taking a stock off the list or adding a stock onto the list afterwards. Let's watch what happens for 30 seconds. Does this totally roll out of bed and break below 2? Or is this going to be a slingshot? It's pretty reluctant. Let's see. And now you got a big iceberg on the ask at 202. It's got to smash above that. I'll be honest right now, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, not a fan of this little drawback here. I'll keep it on there for now. But obviously, as soon as we finish up this meeting, if this breaks below 2, game over. All right, that's the rule. Now, again, I think that's pretty much it. Just one last look on Benzinga Pro, see if there's one last one, I guess. But you have a good list so far. Farfetched, RDHL, CleanSpark, Coinbase, Tesla, and the ETF it goes with, and AFRM. All right, so I think that's just about it, folks. Less talk and more trading, right? Hey, Rich will be on the mic at least in about 10 minutes. So I'll post and tweet the picks in just a bit. Again, for all of us on social media, Brian and all of our attendees today, otherwise, make sure to follow us at Cyber Trading U, just on social media. Be a friend, tell a friend, spread the good word, of course. But if you're interested in joining us inside our live trading room, just scan that QR code. If you're not as fancy and high tech with your phone, I am not myself at least, you can actually go right to the link on the scrolling green banner below on the bottom, ctu.co/trial, and get signed up for a week-long trial membership with us there. Any questions that you got beforehand, though, feel more than free to shoot me over a quick email on top. There we go. Josh@ctutrading.com. All right. So again, for Chuck, Grant, Ravina, Leda, Kennedy, etc., Rich will be on the mic soon. I'll be in the chat up until 3:30. All right. And we'll go from there. Talk to you soon.